Hi there, Cancer. This is your weekly tarot card reading for the week of July 3rd through July 10th. Let's get into it. So, okay, Cancer, very interesting, very interesting reading for you this week. I feel like it kind of goes along with what I've been reading for you guys recently. I just did a monthly reading for you guys for the month of July. So if you haven't watched that, go watch it. Very interestingly enough, Cancer so far has been the most watched video. So I don't know, Cancer. I feel like you guys are really trying to figure some things out about what's going on for you. And this reading's really interesting. I think it's very empowering and it really hands the power back to you. I'm getting a vibe that you feel like a lot of things are out of your control or out of your power. And it's not, I actually want to rephrase that a little bit, because what these cards are saying to me is I think you're actually kind of waiting for something to happen. So I think some things maybe aren't going the way that you want them to go. And you're kind of waiting for something to happen, something to change. And really, the power is in your hands here, which is actually the most positive thing, right? It's so funny. I was just talking to one of my friends about a situation where, the outcome could basically be something that was totally in her control. So she was trying to figure out what was going on in a certain situation. And there could be two outcomes: that either the cause of what was happening was completely out of her control, or the cause of what was happening was completely in her control. And I'm always inclined, right, that we want it to be in our control. I think the best outcome, right, is that whatever is going on in your life is actually something that you have power over. I know sometimes it can feel easier if there's kind of this outside source, right, that you can be like, no, it's out of my control. Like, that's why. But the thing about that is what leaves us a bit powerless sometimes, right? There's definitely things that we cannot control, especially right now. If you're living in the United States, there's a lot going on that feels out of our control. And in this case, for you, Cancer, again, I'm not saying everything is in your control, but I think some of the big things that are kind of showing up for you right now are, and you get to be really empowered around that. So let's get into this. We have 2 7s here. And 7s to me, they can definitely be a little bit chaotic. They can be there. Again, I feel like definitely an energy of chaos, of confusion, of distraction in the tarot deck, at least. That's what 7s a lot of times can kind of indicate. And what's interesting here, though, is that I think with that as well, we think about lucky 7s, right? I think there can actually be a part of this where you get to use the chaos to your advantage. Okay, so I want to put that out there first. We have the 7 of Wands. As I said, we have a couple 7s here. We have the 7 of Wands, and then we have the Wheel of Fortune, and it's reversed. Okay, so immediately what this was saying to me, this top row, I have 2 rows here for you. This top row is kind of saying to me, again, we have the 7 of Discs reversed, and we have this 5 of Wands. I'm just going to show you everything we have on the top. Especially with this Wheel of Fortune and the 7 of Wands, I'm feeling like you are basically kind of in this mode right now where you're feeling like you're having to put out fires and you're not being able to move forward or make any sort of progress towards things that are actually important to you. With that, I would reflect the question back to, are all of these battles that you're fighting your battles to fight? I'm just going to lay that out there. Just a reflection question, right? Take it or leave it. We also have the 7 of Discs reversed, which is this idea of like working for something, but not knowing what the outcome's going to be. I think it's reversed though, because again, I'm getting this feeling of, I think you're doing that as well. You're working, but you're like, is this worth it? What am I doing? Am I wasting my time? And again, I would ask you, are you working on the right things? And are, based off of what, and how do we know what the right things are, right? Well, ultimately, you are the one that is responsible for your life. And I think it's whatever you are wanting to create, right? Is what you're doing working towards that? I do want to be really clear about something, right? Um, I understand there's situations that are out of your control. You might be taking care of an elderly parent, or a parent that has special needs, or a child that has special needs, or a friend that needs your help. Or, you might have situations in your life that are not necessarily moving you towards where you want to go, but they're there, and you need to do those things. And I want to honor that. And I'm also saying, like, if that is part of your life right now, that is, again, the part that's out of your control. But I'm curious if you can clean up some of the areas that are in your control. So I'm wondering if, like, there's additional things that maybe you're doing that you just don't need to be doing. And I think as I say that, you probably are like, yeah. You have an idea of something that could maybe be let go of. So I think this is a week, if nothing else, to just evaluate that. You don't even necessarily have to make big moves, but I feel like you're in this space, right, with the Five of Wands, where it's hard for you to focus your energy and focus in the direction that you're wanting to focus it, because you're so spread thin, because you're doing all of these things. And in the same time, you're questioning, is this leading me anywhere? And also, like, I feel like I can't make any progress because I'm always tending to this and tending to that. Really, if we kind of reworked your focus, I think this Wheel of Fortune would go upright and the wheel would start moving for you again. But you're in a little bit of a standstill because you haven't really cleared the space, right? It's almost like, the analogy that's coming to me is, if you're somewhere where it snows, I definitely live somewhere where it snows. If it snows a good foot, foot and a half, 2 feet, you can't move your car. You can't just, like, back your car up, right? You have to shovel your tires out. You have to shovel your car out. You have to make space. So if you're feeling completely stagnant right now, it might be because you are packed full in every single angle of your life, and you just have to shovel a little bit out. Again, you don't have to shovel everything out. There's things in your life, again, that might not be completely self-serving you, and that's okay. They get to still be there. But are there other things, or are there places where you can ask for support this week, Cancer? Okay, so the next row, I'm like, okay, so what can Cancer do here? What's going on here? What can help them move forward, feel a little bit better this week? So we have the Ace of Swords reversed. Again, I think we've gotten this for you a lot, Cancer, and just really reflecting this back, making that choice, taking that step, just also, like, creating that boundary is a big thing, or like eliminating something from your life, making space in your life, I think is huge. Princess of Discs reversed, knowing where your skill sets are and aren't. I'm wondering if you're also doing things for whatever reason, right, out of obligation, or kind of perceived obligation, right? It might not be that you actually have to do these things, but you're doing these things maybe out of guilt, or, oh, sorry about that, Cancer. There was just a really, really, really loud bang in my apartment building. That, like, scared the crap out of me. I don't know what that means. Might mean nothing. I don't know. But anyways, Cancer, to finish up your reading for you, because I am actually right at the end here for you. That was just, that made me jump out of my seat there for a second. This Princess of Discs, again, it's knowing where, like, kind of knowing your strengths and your weaknesses. So again, I would kind of just maybe this week evaluate where you're spending your time, and is everywhere that you're spending your time and energy, really where your skill sets are best suited? And is there maybe a different solution, or another person, or another way to do things in the places that you're like, yeah, I can technically do this, but it's definitely not my strong suit? I really invite you to kind of, start to look at that, start to just evaluate again, really your skill sets. And maybe that's something that you've never really looked at, is what am I good at and what am I not good at? I think a lot of us, we try to be good at everything. I think a lot of our culture has kind of made us how to do that, be a jack of all trades. You're really stepping into a new level of yourself, Cancer, and I don't think you really have to do that anymore. So maybe evaluating where your time and energy is not best spent. Okay, last thing for you, Cancer, we have this 10 of Cups and it is reversed. I think it's just literally owning what you want, owning the life that you want to create, and really, really being, unapologetic about doing the things that you need to do to get there. And again, starting to eliminate the things that are just simply distractions. And again, there are certain obligations that are in our life and they're out of our control, and they are caring for people in our life or protecting people in our life, and that's okay. But I'm more talking about, I think, some of the just the extra stuff that is really just adding another thing on the to-do list, adding another thing to your plate, to your mind. Where can you start to let that stuff go and really start moving towards the thing that you have in your mind. Okay, Cancer, have a beautiful week. Thank you so much for watching. Comment below your biggest takeaway, and I will talk to you soon.